Hi guys, so today we will discuss how to deploy an FIS application to a Kubernetes environment or OpenShift environment. So for my currently I am using Minikube, so that is you can say a development environment for Kubernetes. So so anyone so target audience could be here developers or test engineers or any other system administrators and even students as well. So this would help them to know how to deploy an application, a fuse integration service, that is FIS based application in Kubernetes or OpenShift. And the other important thing I am going to tell you here is configMaps and secrets. So what configMap and secret is, let's go to the Kubernetes site itself to describe what is configMap and secrets. So configMap is many applications require configuration via some combination of config files, command line, argument and environment variable. These configuration artifacts should be decoupled from image content in order to keep containerized application portable. So that means there is a configuration file which is kept separate from pods or containers, so that every time we don't have to build containers and pods with the changes. So just we have to update or edit the configuration file, and the changes will be picked by the container. So that is a config map, and the advantage we get is we are actually decoupling things. Means we don't need to every time build the whole image or whole application, or we don't need to create ports every time. First thing. Second thing is, let's say I have a production environment, I have a development environment, and for both IPs, username, password differs. So I can have a separate configuration file for production environment and for development environment. That's it. I don't have to build application differently for both the environment. Just deploy once, and you can use multiple configuration file. So this is something this is a concept of config map. And what is secret then? Secret is also similar to config map. The basic difference is config map is used to in config map we use properties, values which are not very sophisticated, or they are not sensitive information, while in secret we store sensitive information, like passwords, OAuth tokens and SSH keys. So putting this information in a secret is safer, so other user cannot access those details. That's why we have a separate property file itself other than config map. So this is the basic concept of config map and secrets. Now let's move to application I am going to show you. So this is a fuse integration service. So why fuse integration service it is? Because this application can be deployed to OpenShift or Kubernetes environment. So I'm going to tell you few things, like in pom.xml, if you see, so it might take some time to open the file. Let me show you what we are going to do here right now. If you see, my Kubernetes environment is running, so let me show you the status. So kubectl minikube status. So let's see if it is running. So status is running, we can easily see it. So the thing is, now we can see what deployments we have here now. So we don't kubectl get config map, it will show you if there is any config map already exist. So no, we don't have any right now. We have any secret file? There are secret files, but these secret files are already being used by this Kubernetes environment. So if you see some other camel config token something like these, so still these are not being used by our application. And yeah, similarly we can see if there is any existing application running, get deployment. This will tell us if any deployment is there. No resource found. Similarly we will search for any pods. Yeah, so that's all. And the other important thing, we while developing an application or deploying an application into Minikube, we generally use this variable. If you see here, yeah, let me show you. Yeah, so this we need to do this command. So what actually this command will do, it will point our registry to Docker registry to Minikube, so that now what I will do, Docker images. So yeah, if you see, I have these Docker images at my end. Let me stretch it a bit so that it is more visible. Yeah, even let me do it more. Yeah, so these are the repositories I have. And yeah, so this one I am talking about, FIS, this Spring Boot camel configuration archetype. So this image I am already having. So let me show you let me show you how we can how this application is built, or what is the structure of this build. So I have this ready. So now ready, let me show you the pom.xml. Yeah, so if you see here, this we are using fabricate maven plugin. So this plugin will this plugin actually builds the image, and it also create the deployment as well. So yeah, fabricate plugin is responsible for the deployment in the OpenShift or Kubernetes environment. So this is a very important plugin here. The other important plugin is Spring Boot Maven plugin. So this application, this plugin, if anyone is aware of the Spring Boot, he should be knowing that this plugin is responsible for for creating an application as a microservice or a Spring Boot based application. Yeah, and yeah, and the other important thing is yeah, so these Spring Boot camel, this is camel dependency, camel Spring Boot, which we need to provide if it's a camel application, and the Spring Boot this one. So yeah, that is it. And yeah, and the fabricate version which we are using, it is this 2.2.183. So that was about pom.xml. Let me show you the other important things, like what camel context we are using. So this is our application. So what it will do, there is a timer running. Okay, it's a period, in every 3 seconds it will run, and a timer will print the counter. So every time a timer runs, it has a counter. So 1 2 3, every time it will run, it will put in the body this message slash -1 message -2 second time, and it will log this one, generating message body. It will print this body after evaluating it and sending to the recipient list. Now see, this is the interesting part, recipient list. So recipient list, matter ID, route to recipient, reference is this. So quick start configuration, and method is this get. If you see this quick start configuration, get recipient, so this method is being called. Now how this recipient is set, this recipient is set from the set recipient. So how we are setting it, so if you see here how we are setting it, so we have this application properties, there way quick start recipient equals to direct async queue and direct file. So this we are right now setting here. So how this works, if you would have seen it properly, this camel context file, quick start configuration, and this Java file. So here it is, it says configuration property prefix is quick start. So when we define in application properties quick start dot, so prefix, so it belongs, so these properties belongs to this class. Yeah. So how this how we set this recipient from application properties using this. Yeah. So recipient we have set. We are also setting username, wrong username and wrong password. Okay, so how is being this, how this is being used? If we go to route again, I know. Okay, so it is sending to recipient list, and there are there are two or three different routes. So if it is from, you know, this one, if it is direct async queue, if in recipient list we have provided this endpoint, so yeah, so this will log async queue. If in recipient list we have also provided, you know, direct mail endpoint, so it will also log this send via mail. Also if we also provide in recipient list the third direct file, so this will also be logged returned to the file. So that's it. So there are three endpoints in the recipient list. So we can even provide more. So what is being provided here, if you see here, this direct async and direct file. Yeah. So what we are going to do, if you see that these properties are defined in the application properties file. So every time I have to build an application, if I want to make any change here, so now we have a concept of, you know, as we already discussed, configMap and secrets. So we are going to see that, and the other we are going to see that, and yeah, so let me tell you, you know, this how these secrets are. Yeah. So configMap, if you see, this is the example of configMap configuration file. configMap configuration file, this is, and okay, this, yeah. So here I have provided in the data quick start dot recipients. If you compare it with this quick start dot recipient, so it was earlier provided with direct async queue and direct file, but I am providing one more endpoint, direct mail. Yeah. So these changes will override any changes to the application dot properties. So like, let's say in application property, so preference, I am talking about preference. So example, this configMap would be given the preference over application dot properties. Okay. Similar for this secret file too. So in secret, what I am doing, yeah, let me open this, open with text editor. Yeah. So if you see, it's a secret, kind, it's secret. Earlier we saw kind was configMap. So this is how they are differentiated. And yeah, quick start queue username and these things. So yeah, if you see here, these are binary encoded actually. So to get the exact value, we have to decode them. So let me decode it for you. Yeah. So let me decode it. So yes. So yeah. So and so yeah, if you see this is being decoded to my user. So echo my user base 64. Yeah. So this value is being, you know, this value is being provided here. So that's what. Similarly, this is also, this password is also encoded into binary 64. Okay. Base 64 encoded, sorry, base 64 encoded. And now let us go to, you know, how we can. So this is I am within this application. Here if you can see, now what I need to do here is this plugin can be run as if you see here ls. So I am in the this is Spring Boot camel config archetype, and I am just within it I am having pom.xml. So straightforward I can run this application, deploy this application. So here we see that we don't have right now any deployment, we don't have any ports, we don't have any secrets. We already saw that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so but these are not being used right now by service. So what should I do? Let us first create secrets. Okay, Control R, cubes, ctl, create. See, yeah. So this will create a secret. Okay, so if you see here, let me check you here, this was .yml file, so it will create a secret here. So let us create it. Created. Now let us get the output of secret. So this one is created. Okay, if we see camel config. Now similarly let us create sample, what was the name, configMap. Yeah, that is also created. Now configMap. Now we have an output here, camel config. So why camel config? If you see here, so this was the name, metadata name was camel config for a secret, and what was it for? Yeah, for configMap it was camel config. So that's why we have this here, output of get secret and get config. Now we are done with this. Now what we will do, we will try to deploy this application. So how we deploy this? MVN fabricate deploy. So let us run this. Okay, it might take time. Let us see the application again. Okay, so what we have in application is this modify and update is created by me only, just to copy these steps which I have been copy these steps which I generally use to deploy the application. So for my further future references. So if you see application.java here this application.java is a standard Spring Boot class. So if you see here it just runs Spring application.run and application.class, and in class path we have Spring camel context.xml, this one. Yeah, if you see here, so body sent via mail simulation and body sent return to file via simulation. This sent to mail is from direct mail and direct file. Okay, and this direct async queue. So if we see this this configMap, the value was direct async, these three endpoints. So these all three endpoints should be invoked once we deploy this application. And the other thing I wanted to show you here is this deployment.yml. This deployment.yml is this is the deployment file, and if you see volumes, the name is camel config is the volume, and the secret is again the camel config. So actually we are so whatever will be deployed, this application will be deployed, it refers to camel config secret and camel config map. Yeah, so that what we have created in the Minikube. So so this is how this camel config map and secrets are referred to this application. So at runtime, so later if you we want to change it to some other value, or then we should change this secret name, and we should also change this meta name in the secret and secret file as well as the configMap file. Okay, so this how we can play with this application. And yeah, there is one more bootstrap.yml. Let us check this as well. So this is an application, camel config application, and we can, if you change configMap, if you reload configMap, the changes will be itself reflected in the environment while it is disabled for secret. So if we make any change to secret at the runtime, that might not be reflected. So we will check this as well, like we will change some value of configMap, and we will see whether those changes are reflected at runtime or not. So this was some details about application. Let me show you if more thing I can show you here. Yeah, yeah, that's all. Let's see that has been built or not. Okay, yeah, so this is build success. So now we will check number of ports. Okay, it is still displaying. We will also check if any yeah, so it's in running state. So what we can do, -w we can do, it will watch here. And so ports, we can also see ctl get deployment. Yeah, so if you see with this deployment, this is the deployment we did, Spring Boot camel config, and currently available is 0 because this is still in ready 0. We don't have it as this pod is still not ready. It is in internally it is being built. So once we have this one ready and this one is available, then we can easily view the logs of this pod. Okay, so let's wait for some time until it becomes ready becomes 1. And yeah, so other things we can see here is yeah, so it is now ready. So let's see now. Okay, and we will see the output of deployment as well. See, up to date available is 1. So this pod is ready for us now. Yeah, so what we will do now, we will check logs, kubectl logs. Okay, copy paste. Yeah, if you see here, so let me show you this again, clear. Yeah, now this is being, if we map it with the code, so in code it is, so firstly it should print generating message. Okay, so let us see that. So generating message 18th message, it is sending to the recipient list. Okay, so it is sending to the recipient list. So as we saw that in recipient list there were 3 routes configured, async queue. So let us check for async queue. Now message 18 pushed to the async queue. Now we have, yes, and see, using username method, it says get queue username. Okay, so let us go to this and queue username, get username. This queue username was again set from application properties, queue username. So it was wrong username, this one. Okay, so application property was setting this, but our sample secret file was setting it as this, and we encoded it. We saw it how it was encoded. It was encoded to when we decode this value, it was my user. So what is it is printing? We will see here. Yeah, so it printed my user. So that's what I am saying. Yeah, so let us go to camel context. So yeah, using username method q username for the SNQ, that is being printed. And here now it went to direct mail. So let us check again this one. So message 18 returned to the file. So somehow this was invoked first, written to the file, and later sent via mail. It was invoked. So all these routes were invoked. Okay. So now let us, we saw that how this configMap and target configMap and secrets files are running. So let us try to make some changes to configMap, and let's see if those are being reflected or not. Okay, so yeah, we will see here get ports. So we have here, and now we want to change q get config map. Okay, yes. So now kubectl edit, we need to edit config map, and the name of that map is camel config. Yes. So so now see, we got this config map. Okay, so now what I will do, I will change value of this start recipient, so that this direct mail is, I will delete this and delete this direct mail endpoint. So let me delete it. Okay, I'm deleting it. Yes, yeah, deleted. Okay, now let me check logs. Okay, that would be interesting to see. Yeah, yes. Now we see here, so these here started application. So it seems that this container was refreshing context, start update, annotation, context annotation, these were refreshed. Then we got this generate order. Okay, it was sent to async queue my user, it was sent to file. Okay, just to file. So it wasn't sent to mail component. See again, recipient list, async queue, my user async queue, only to file. Okay, it is not sent to mail. While earlier logs, if we see here, so it was sent to mail, file, and async queue. So right now only two endpoints are being called. So this is so let us again do that and make it only one. So that would be more clear here. Yeah, perfect. Yes. So now here, see, using username, so generating message, sending to async queue, and again now this was if you see message 129, now this is message 130, while earlier it was message 139. This message, this was, so only one async queue endpoint is invoked. Now let us configure it again. Okay, with the one more endpoint, and that was direct mail. Now let us see. Now till now it is being refreshed. Yes. So if you see here, Yeah, so if we, let's see the first message. We have generating message 149. It is sent to async queue and it is sent to mail. But file it is still not sent because we have not configured. Then the next message. So we have seen the basic idea of how to edit the config map, and even similarly secrets can be changed, and that value would be reflected ASAP. So but secret won't be changed here if we uh, because we saw here in deployment file that the you know yeah, sorry, bootstrap file, we saw that reload was enabled for config map only, not for secret. So for secrets we have to if we enabled it here, then it will be enabled. For by default it is disabled. So yeah, so that was a basic idea about how to configure these how to configure config map and secrets in your application, and what are actually these config map and secrets. So I believe you would have got some basic idea about this. So what I will do at last here, I will scale this. So if you see number of pods, get pods. Okay, now I'm right now it is scaled to 1 to 1. Now I will scale it down. So yeah, and so let me scale it to 0. Yes, now if we see here get ports. Okay, so terminating state it is. So now there would be, yeah, so now there are no more pods, but yeah, deployment is still there if you see. So if we again scale up this with replica 1, then a new pod will be created, and that pod is something pod is the actual entity where we can see logs, and which is actually the functional unit. Yeah, so that's all for today. I hope that would help you guys, and yeah, take care, bye.